a fairly fast-moving presentation, you may want to be moving into your next subject. So, here's what you can do. You can create a black slide. Simplest thing in the world. Yeah, right. Simplest thing in the world. You can actually, you don't even need to change your template at all. Just draw a big box around the slide area and fill it with black. Now this slide, this particular slide, I like to put a little blue dot down at the corner because I use that slide when I'm sitting around waiting to be introduced or something like that. I know the projector's still working. I can see that blue dot. I know things are cooking still, so I still have the confidence that everything's all right. But so I would suggest if you want to create a slide like this and put it in places you know you're going to want to pause. You know you're going to want to step back from what the presentation is and have maybe a comment or two with the audience, or maybe ask for questions or some sort of interaction. Now, one of the things that I don't know if you noticed when I was first setting up, I have a slide. This is my first slide, and generally it's not anything that anybody sees, but it's the black slide, same black slide, with a white rule or a white border around it. And I use that just to set up my projector. In a room like this, I'm not sure how far the projector needs to be away. I'm not sure how much. I want to make sure it's as close to the edges of the screen as possible. It's nothing worse than going halfway through your presentation and realizing you've got a slide that's going to be on this wall back over here, some of the critical material you wanted to point out. So I use this to set up. But the black slide with the blue dot is a very valuable technique. So magic trick number 2. This is a really good one. Semi-transparent shapes. Now this is just about the greatest trick in the whole world. It's a little geeky, and I'm going to walk you through the progression of how you create this, but it does amazing things. So let's say you've got a background like this. This is actually a medical slide that I created for one of my clients, and they wanted to show this type of a background. It's very busy, very difficult to put text on top of. So what you can do is you can create a box or a semi-transparent shape that goes on top of it, that dulls it down. It reduces it so that now you can put text on top of it and it becomes very legible. It's very simple to do. Let me walk you through it a little bit. This is our slide. And here's the box. Now, generally I don't animate the box coming in, but there's a box around the entire slide again, and normally there wouldn't be a white border around it. But it's filled with black. And then I go into this little menu structure here. It's fairly simple to do. In PowerPoint there, you can select the box, you can select format, and in the menu that's pulled down, there's a menu selection called More Fill Colors. Then once you select that, this additional menu comes up. You choose the fill that you want for your slide, or for your box, or whatever shape it is. And down at the bottom, right there, you can select the transparency. So generally, I use this all the time. Generally, it's either black or white, depending on the slide and the effect you're looking for. So here we have that slide again. And this is with a white box coming across. And now we have a very high-key slide or high-key image. We can put black text on top of it. So we still get the idea. We still have the image that the client wants or that you want to show, give that first impression, and then you can dull or highlight the image to put your text on top. Magic trick number 3. Builds. Now, I don't know if you folks do this or not. I get varying degrees of comprehension when I ask people if they use a build when they create PowerPoint, but it's very simple. It's basically you take a slide with a bulleted list and you show the bullets one at a time. And the reason this is so powerful is you don't have people reading ahead deeper down into the slide thinking, oh, I can't wait until it gets to that point. I want to talk to them about, or I want to hear about that. So you're controlling what the audience is seeing. You're parceling the information that the audience is going to get. These are called builds. It's very simple to do in the animation section of PowerPoint. I can show anyone later on if they want, but it's a fairly simple thing to do if you know how to do just a little bit of animation. This is another type of build. I have a slide that I work for a client. It isn't a PowerPoint thing. I mean, it isn't a bullet point thing. But I created a little frame for each one of the bullets, and the frame moves down as I move through the bulleted list. So you can see how a build is a very useful thing to control how people see the information you want to talk to them about. Number 4. turn words into images. This is very cool also. One of the great things about PowerPoint, obviously, is that it can portray, or it can present images that go along with the words that either come out of your mouth or on the screen. And that two-way, that two-fold presentation of ideas is very, very powerful. So let me show you a slide that I got originally from one of my clients. Very simple slide. This is very typical of the type of thing that you see. It's filled with text. This is going to be, especially if it's halfway through a presentation, it's going to be dreadfully boring. Everybody's going to be falling asleep. But up in this part, there was a bunch of numbers that actually was the crux of what they wanted to talk about. So I created an image that those numbers would fit on top of, and it would change the pace and change the look of how the presentation went. So it looks a little bit like this. Again, it's a little bit of a build, but this is just a different way of presenting the data using an image. Here's another one. Just presenting information to the, that's me on your left. It's just another way of presenting information to your audience. It's and it's like a double-edged whammy when you're delivering information to your audience in two levels of information, both the verbal and the visual. So you can become an incredible magician with PowerPoint with just some simple techniques, simple things that you can do that will take your PowerPoint to the next level. People will think you're unbelievably, incredibly super cool. So if you black out the screen when you don't need to be talking, when you don't need to have an image on there, or you can use semi-transparent shapes, you can use builds to deliver information when you want it to be delivered, or you can create images that deliver the information on another level along with your words. Thank you.